Hello everybody. So we're back in the attic of the Hedin house, making a little progress on installing the bathroom vent fan. You can see that I've opened an access area, knocked a hole in the soffit from the inside, opened that up, removed some wood. I was able to locate where the soffit was on the exterior. Thanks to the guys at Leaf Filter for installing the vent for me. I couldn't quite reach this on my extension ladder, so the Leaf Filter guys, since they were up there anyway, had them put this in. I did modify it a little bit, cut the edge off so it would fit against the molding there. But I did need a bit of extension, a bit more length on the vent. The plastic vent. So I found this at Menards. Not a bath vent filter, but a bit of transition. Can't imagine you'd use the same thing, but this is by Prinsco. It's just a 6-inch transition piece for plumbing, but it works. It's going to work very well for this as well. Just kind of chopped it off. And beveled the edge so it fits right into the vent fan. It'll give me something for the insulated ductwork to grab onto. Right now, I need to locate the bathroom light fixture. As near as I can tell, it's at the X, which you can't see, but I'm going to start cutting away boards, make a small hole, progressively bigger, until I find the existing light. It's not a vent, it's just a bathroom light. And this has never been opened, obviously. They actually, I can show you later, but the bathroom light is a 2-bulb fixture with 1 bulb in it. They actually, when somebody rewired it or installed it, they actually pulled the wiring down into the fixture housing and wired it from the underside. Which is less than ideal, but I'm going to try to locate the light, and that's where the vent's going to go. It's worth mentioning too that I'm going to raise the blade, I guess, so that it cuts just through the 2-inch flooring here rather than any further into the joist. Hopefully I'll avoid a few nails that way. Okay, now we've got a mask on and gloves. Very glad to see plenty of insulation in here, more than I expected. I can see wiring. It's a good sign. However, it's knob and tube, of course, so I'll want to replace as much of that as I can. I'm told though it's in knob and tube is perfectly safe as long as it's in good condition. It does seem to be in excellent condition. So that should lead to the wall and go down for the light switch. I could replace that length of it pretty easy along with the exhaust fan. Replace the lighting that just goes down to the switch. As long as there's movement, I can fish the new line up through that wire, or through the wall. This does seem to be the light fixture, and that's just a couple inches off from where my X was, I think. So I'm going to open this a little more, and see what kind of cavity I've got between the rafters to mount the exhaust fan. So what was it I found upstairs underneath the insulation? A little Hallmark card. Hallmark cards when you care enough to send the very best. Nothing terribly fancy, nothing on the back, but it makes an amateur attic archaeologist wonder, how long has Hallmark cards been around? According to Google, about 1910. So that implies that was the attic completely uninsulated from 1896 until sometime after 1910? That seems a little ridiculous in Minnesota. But we know that the family was living in the little house, basically a two-room shed with a wood-burning stove, through at least one Minnesota winter as they built the main house. So, is it possible that the roof, because it was under the planking, the original planking as well. So I don't know that the insulation was replaced at any point. Maybe it could have been somehow, but it looked like the original planking. So who knows? Also, what else is up there? I know I've seen other people discover all kinds of cool things in their attic, much cooler than this. So it makes you wonder what other history is buried upstairs. I'll keep you posted. See ya. There's the aluminum frame that the blower motor fits into. And it's adjustable to any width dimension between the rafters. I've marked out the material that needs to be removed and drilled pilot holes. I laid down plastic at this point, covering the whole bathroom, and made sure the shower curtain was on the outside of the tub. The silver conduit here is the electrical line that runs from the basement circuit panel outside the house, up 2 stories, and into the attic. So here's the finished product, or nearly finished. So we've got Whisper Quiet exhaust fan running on a dedicated electrical line, running out of a very short exhaust to a soffit vent on the outside. We've got to the left an exhaust stack for the plumbing. So what I'd like to do in the future is wall off, this whole section, and pour in maybe 6 inches or so, or at least 6 inches of blown-in insulation. Basically, just pour it in there. So at least that cavity is nice and insulated. Otherwise, it's completely functional. I did fill in with some loose fill around the unit, and so I wanted to chat briefly about some of the materials I use. I was pretty proud at the beginning of the video you saw. I was pretty proud of myself when I cut down, a piece of tubing. Apparently, it's a 6-inch internal coupler, whatever that is, from Home Depot. I thought I was pretty proud of myself, but as it turns out, I didn't end up using it. When I was shopping for the insulated conduit, I saw people frequently buy this along with it, so I purchased a coupler that fit into that and had a flange on the outside that was much easier to install, to screw to the soffit than something like this with no flange on it. So I ended up with all kinds of extra conduit, exhaust that I didn't need. But the first thing I installed, or had installed, was a soffit vent. I wanted to figure out what was my solution for this problem before I committed to actually buying the exhaust fan. So I got this soffit exhaust vent from Everbuilt. I'll do a link to the stuff in the description. Got a big old hole saw, and found out that it was just out of my reach on my extension ladder. I couldn't quite reach the soffit, so I was able to talk, I think it was the house painters, I was able to talk them into, you know, just cutting a hole in the soffit since they were up in that area anyway. So then I was able to purchase the unit, and it's on a dedicated line. The initial thought was, I don't know why I was thinking this, but the bathroom light is knob and tube wiring. I was thinking I might be able to just connect into that with the, you know, with this modern equipment, put an extra load on that knob and tube, but I decided that maybe that wasn't a good idea. So ended up having a dedicated line all the way from the fuse panel, ran outside, up the wall, you know, on the back of the house, up into the attic. So I have a dedicated line and an outlet for any work I need to do up here, or additional lights. But a dedicated line to the exhaust fan. A little bit more money, but that's definitely the, you know, the way to go, the safer way to go. Having it on a modern separate circuit. So lessons learned. You can see that steel conduit there. That's where the electrical line comes into the attic and runs up along the rafters. I did have them put in an electrical outlet, runs down to the blower motor. So apologies for not getting more footage of the actual installation, but suffice it to say it was not easy. Plaster and lath is much thicker than your modern sheetrock, and it was my first time, so I'll be honest. I did some touch up, some fill in with filler there. A little more filler and sanding. Probably paint the ceiling. I'll be done on this side. You see a piece of white tape over the center there. That's an electronic eye. This particular unit has a motion sensor and a moisture sensor, so no need to hook up like many do. No light switch, no switch to turn this on or off, which is nice in an older home because the light switch, like I mentioned, is the older wiring, and I didn't want to knock another hole to add another switch in my tile wall. I'll show you that here. So here's just the existing light switch. I might have been able to widen that maybe to accommodate a separate switch for an exhaust fan, but I really like the way it's not required for this particular unit. It's got a so that's it for this project. It was it took a while to figure out how to get it done, but very happy with this upgrade. Thanks for watching, folks. Nothing real fancy. And I'm going to take these glasses off.